Title: Whispers After Dark. Opening shot: a dimly lit room, the narrator's silhouette seated at a desk, their face illuminated by the eerie glow of a laptop screen. The voice begins, calm but tinged with fear. I didn't mean to stay up late that night. It was a Friday. Perfect end to a long week. I had a drink in hand and decided to relax by catching up on my favorite Twitch streamer, Ethan. He played spooky games, the kind that made you laugh and scream at the same time. His jokes, the chat's chaos, it was all good fun. That night, though, it wasn't like any of his usual streams. Ethan was playing an obscure indie horror game called Whispers in the Dark. I'd heard about it, a game that felt too real, almost alive. People claimed it was cursed, but I didn't believe in that stuff. As the game started, its grainy, VHS-style graphics filled the screen. Ethan joked about how creepy it was. The flickering shadows, the faint whispers in the background. We all laughed along in the chat. But as the game progressed, things got off. The house Ethan explored felt strangely familiar to me. The creaking floorboards, the way the shadows twisted unnaturally. It stirred something in my memory, something I couldn't place. Ethan's jokes started to fade, his usual energy replaced by nervous chuckles. He didn't say it, but I could tell he felt it too. Then, something happened that made my blood run cold. As Ethan turned a corner in the game, the screen flickered. For a split second, the camera wasn't in the game anymore. It showed Ethan himself, sitting at his desk, wide-eyed, lit only by his screen. The chat exploded. "Did you guys see that? What was that?" Ethan rewound the footage, thinking it was a glitch, but there it was again, clear as day, his own face staring back. "Okay, this is seriously messed up," he muttered, forcing a laugh. But his voice wavered. From there, the game spiraled into something darker. The protagonist found a cracked mirror hanging on a wall, and when they looked into it, the reflection wasn't right. The face was hollow, sunken, as though it didn't belong to the person looking back. Ethan paused. His breathing grew heavier. That's when the lights in his room flickered. He froze, his eyes darting off-screen. "Guys, I think someone's in my room," he whispered. The chat went wild, urging him to turn around. I leaned closer to my screen, heart pounding. And then, in the shadows behind him, a figure appeared. It was gaunt, impossibly thin, with tattered clothes hanging off its frame. Its face was wrong, its smile too wide, its eyes empty. Ethan's voice cracked. "Is this part of the game?" But I knew it wasn't. The figure stepped closer, and as it reached toward him, the stream cut out. Just static. The chat erupted in panic, but Ethan never came back. His Twitch account went offline. Everything, the VOD, the clips, was gone. I tried to convince myself it was a prank or a stunt, but deep down, I knew better. That night, as I lay in bed, I heard whispers, faint, just beyond my hearing range, but unmistakable. They said my name. Pause. The narrator looks off-screen, as if recalling the memory vividly. Weeks passed, and there was no sign of Ethan. His mods hadn't heard from him. Reddit was full of speculation. Was it an ARG? A curse? A kidnapping? But no one had answers. Then, one night, a new channel appeared on Twitch. The title? Whispers After Dark. Against my better judgment, I clicked. The screen was dark at first, the audio filled with static and faint murmurs. Then, for a brief moment, Ethan's face appeared. His eyes were sunken, his skin pale, his expression hollow. The chat filled with questions, but no one mentioned what I saw next. Behind him, the figure from his room emerged again, its twisted smile fixed on the camera. It whispered something I couldn't understand, but it felt like it was calling me. I typed into the chat, "Ethan, are you there? Please reply." For a moment, there was silence. Then, distorted through layers of static, I heard his voice. "Help me. I can't escape." The screen flickered, and the stream cut to black. The narrator exhales shakily, leaning forward, their voice trembling now. That's when the whispers really started. I hear them every night now, calling my name, growing louder. Sometimes, I see the figure in my dreams. Or worse, in the corners of my room. A month later, Ethan's account reactivated. A new stream was scheduled. Against my better judgment, I joined. This time, there was no Ethan. Just the figure, standing under flickering lights. It stared into the camera and whispered, "There's room for you in the dark." And I understood. I felt the pull. The darkness wasn't just watching, it was waiting. The narrator leans back, looking directly into the camera, their expression grim. I know my time is running out. If you're watching this, if you've even heard of Ethan, it's already too late. The whispers will find you. Do yourself a favor. Turn off your screen. Walk away. Forget this ever happened. Because once you hear the whispers, they never stop. The screen flickers. Static begins to fill the frame. The narrator looks around the room nervously as the video abruptly cuts to black.